For years, millions have watched Rick Harrison stand proudly behind the counter of the gold and silver pawn shop, smiling, joking, bargaining, and bringing dusty pieces of American history back to life. But today, those same fans are staring at one terrifying question. Why is Rick suddenly talking about selling the shop? Is this the end of Pawn Stars? The whispers started small rumors of lower foot traffic, painful family tragedy, lawsuits, the loss of his father, the old man, and a Vegas economy that isn't what it used to be. Soon those whispers turned into a storm. Fans walking past the shop claimed they saw fewer tourists than before. Local business owners say Vegas has changed. And Rick himself, in emotional moments, has hinted that he is tired, worn, and unsure how much longer he can carry the weight of the empire he built from nothing. People close to him say, the shop isn't just a building, it's his identity. It holds memories of his father, the laughter of Chumley's chaos, the negotiations that built a franchise, and the legacy he promised to protect. Selling it would mean closing the final chapter of his life's greatest achievement. And yet, something is pushing him closer to that decision. Pain, pressure, loss, reality. So, is Rick Harrison really letting it all go? Or is there something deeper, darker, and far more heartbreaking behind the rumors? The truth will shock you. The gold and silver pawn shop wasn't just a business, it was a symbol. A symbol of hard work, perseverance, and a dream built brick by brick in the heart of Las Vegas. Rick Harrison grew up in the shadows of his father, Richard Benjamin Harrison, known to the world simply as the Old Man. Together, they transformed a small pawn shop into an international phenomenon, a place where history, treasure, and human stories collided. Every item on the shelves told a story. Every negotiation carried the weight of experience, and every visitor left carrying a piece of that magic with them. But now, behind the familiar smiles and flashing cameras, Rick faces a battle the cameras can't capture, the battle of holding on to a life he built. While the world around him changes faster than he can adjust, foot traffic is down. The neon lights of Las Vegas no longer guarantee the same crowds as before. Tourists are fewer, the economy fluctuates, and the once thriving shop feels the pressure of modern times. Beyond the business, there's the emotional toll. Rick has lost his father, the man who was his mentor, his partner, and his anchor. Chumley and Corey bring laughter and energy, but no one can fill the void of the man who taught him how to turn history into opportunity. For Rick, every decision is now heavier. The weight of the shop is more than financial. It is the weight of memories, of family, of legacy. Rumors swirl online, fueled by speculation and dramatized narratives claiming bankruptcy or secret sales. But those who truly know Rick understand the truth is far more complex. Selling isn't just about money, it's about letting go of decades of sweat, late nights, and the pride of building something extraordinary from scratch. And yet he's human. He feels exhaustion. He feels fear that the shop, once the heartbeat of his life, might not survive without him. Each conversation with family, each reflection on his father's legacy, reminds him that nothing lasts forever, not even the brightest neon sign in Vegas. Still, the shop remains a magnet for the curious and the hopeful. Tourists walk in, eyes wide at rare artifacts, historical treasures, and the chance to see television history in motion. Rick greets them with warmth, laughter, and the familiar negotiation dance that made him famous. Behind the scenes, however, the man who once seemed unstoppable struggles with questions he never anticipated. Can he keep the dream alive? Will the shop survive in a changing world? And if it doesn't, how does he say goodbye to everything he's built? As the rumors spread, fans feel the tension in their own hearts. Pawn Stars isn't just a show. It's a cultural touchstone, a glimpse into the extraordinary within the ordinary. Losing it would feel like losing a piece of history itself. But the real story isn't about whether the shop closes, it's about Rick's resilience, his love for what he built, and the sacrifices he continues to make for a legacy that extends far beyond money. The gold and silver pawn shop isn't just a store, it's a monument to dreams, struggles, triumphs, and heartbreak. And whether Rick decides to sell or fight on, one truth remains undeniable. His story, like the treasures he guards, will never be forgotten. Behind the flashing cameras and the bustling shop floor, there is a side of Rick Harrison that the world rarely sees. The world sees the humor, the charm, the sharp wit that turns a simple pawn deal into television gold. But beneath that exterior lies a man carrying the weight of decades of decisions, loss, and unspoken fears. Every time he walks past the rows of rare coins, vintage guitars, or historic documents, he is reminded not just of the items themselves, but of the moments they represent, the moments he shared with his father, the late-night negotiations that tested his patience, and the countless decisions that defined the very soul of the business. These are memories that no contract or television script can capture. They are intimate, painful, and profoundly human. Rick's relationship with Corey and Chumley adds another layer of complexity. They are family, friends, and business partners rolled into one. Corey carries the analytical precision that balances Rick's instinct, while Chumley brings warmth, humor, and unpredictability. But even with their support, Rick often feels the isolation of responsibility. Decisions that might seem simple to the outside world, whether to sell a rare item, whether to take on a new venture, carry with them decades of legacy, emotional investment, and the echoes of his father's teachings. The burden is immense, and in quiet moments, Rick confronts the vulnerability that the cameras will never reveal. The rumors about selling the shop have stirred more than just fan speculation. They've stirred Rick's own reflections. He wonders what it would mean to step away, to allow someone else to take over a place that has been his life's work. The thought brings both fear and sorrow. Fear that the shop could lose its identity without him, and sorrow at the idea of severing the connection to his father and the life they built together. Each day, he negotiates not only with customers but with himself, balancing the practical realities of business with the emotional truths of legacy and loss. Visitors continue to stream into the shop, often unaware of the quiet battles taking place behind the counters. To them, it is a place of wonder, of rare treasures and memorable television moments. But to Rick, each visitor is a reminder that time is passing, that nothing lasts forever. The walls that have held laughter, argument, and triumph for decades are witnesses to a life fully lived and yet impermanent. Every handshake, every photograph, every autograph carries with it a fleeting moment that cannot be recreated once it passes. Amid all this, one thing remains clear. Rick Harrison's story is not just about business or television fame. It is about resilience, loyalty, and the human struggle to preserve something meaningful in a world that constantly changes. It is about a man confronting the realities of aging, of loss, and of the difficult choices that define our legacies. And it is about hope, the hope that, no matter what happens, the spirit of the gold and silver pawn shop, the lessons of the old man, and the memories of decades past will endure. Fans may continue to speculate, videos may continue to spread rumors, and headlines may suggest that the end is near. But the truth is far more nuanced, far more human. Rick Harrison is not just a television star. He is a father, a son, a mentor, and a man grappling with the profound complexities of life, legacy, and love. Whether he chooses to sell the shop or continue fighting for it, the emotional truth of his journey resonates far beyond the neon lights of Las Vegas. It is a story of ambition, heartache, and unwavering dedication. A story that will stay with everyone who has ever watched, wondered, or dreamed out. The decision Rick Harrison faces is not simply a business choice. It's a crossroads of identity, memory, and legacy. Every corner of the gold and silver pawn shop whispers reminders of the life he has lived. The sound of coins clinking, the chatter of customers, the echo of laughter from past negotiations, it all forms a symphony that tells the story of a man who poured his heart into every deal, every relationship, and every moment. Letting go of the shop would mean saying goodbye not just to a physical space, but to a lifetime of memories stitched into every brick, every counter, and every display case. It's a weight few can understand, yet one that Rick carries with quiet strength and vulnerability. Even now, he reflects on the legacy of his father, the old man, whose presence still lingers like a shadow in the shop. Richard Harrison's voice, his lessons, his unyielding principles shaped Rick into the man he is today. Losing him years ago left a void that no amount of success or fame could fill. Every decision Rick makes now is influenced by that absence, by a desire to honor his father's memory, to protect the dream they built together, and to ensure that the gold and silver pawn shop remains more than just a building. It remains a living testament to their shared vision. Fans may see only the surface, the rare finds, the clever deals, the humor and banter that made the show legendary. But beneath it all lies a deeply human story of perseverance, love, and sacrifice. Rick wakes each day balancing the pressures of a high-profile business with the emotional weight of decades of work, relationships, and memories. Even in moments of exhaustion, he finds solace in the laughter of his family, the curiosity of visitors, and the knowledge that he has created something truly extraordinary, something that will outlive him, regardless of the rumors circulating online. The speculation about selling the shop or ending the show may continue, but the reality is far more profound. This isn't just about property or television ratings, it's about the choices that define a life. It's about the courage to confront change, the wisdom to recognize when to hold on and when to let go, and the love that binds a family together even in the face of uncertainty. Rick Harrison's story reminds us that legacy is not measured solely by fame or wealth, but by the lives touched, the lessons passed down, and the memories preserved. In the end, whether the shop changes hands or Rick decides to continue steering it himself, one truth remains unshakable. The spirit of the gold and silver pawn shop endures. The stories it holds, the laughter it has nurtured, the lessons it has taught, these cannot be sold, cannot be forgotten, and cannot be diminished. Rick Harrison's journey, with all its triumphs and heartbreaks, will remain etched in the hearts of those who watched, cheered, and believed in him. And while the future may be uncertain, one thing is guaranteed. The legacy of Pawn Stars, of the old man, of Rick himself, will continue to inspire, to captivate, and to remind us all of the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. Because in the end, it's not just a pawn shop. It's a life lived with heart, courage, and an unwavering commitment to what matters most: family, legacy, and the stories that define us. And for Rick Harrison, that truth will shine brighter than any neon sign in Las Vegas. Long after the cameras stop rolling, the future of the gold and silver pawn shop hangs in delicate balance. And with it, the heart of Rick Harrison himself. Every morning he walks through the familiar doors, greeted by the faint smell of leather, old paper, and polished wood, a scent that has become inseparable from his identity. The shop is more than a business. It is a living diary of decades of effort, laughter, and hardship. And while fans may only see the rare coins, vintage guitars, and historic artifacts, Rick sees the people behind the items, the stories, the memories, and the fleeting moments that give meaning to every transaction. Each sale carries a weight beyond its price tag. It is a piece of history leaving the place he has fought to preserve, a reminder of why he built this shop in the first place. The thought of selling or stepping back is emotionally exhausting. It forces him to confront the impermanence of life, the reality that even the strongest dreams are vulnerable to change. He feels the pull of legacy against the pull of exhaustion. He remembers the lessons of the old man: hard work, honesty, and the belief that a life is measured not only by what you achieve, but by how you impact others. Every choice he makes now is a test of that philosophy. To keep going is to honor the past. To let go is to accept the natural course of life. Neither option is easy, and neither is free from pain. Rick also carries the weight of public expectation. Millions of viewers have grown up with Pawn Stars as a cultural touchstone. They know him as the sharp, witty negotiator, the man who can recognize a treasure when he sees one, and the heart behind a family-run empire. But the cameras capture only the surface. They do not show the late nights filled with uncertainty, the constant mental calculations about business, or the emotional toll of managing family dynamics under the pressure of fame. Corey and Chumley remain pillars of support. Yet the ultimate responsibility rests squarely on Rick's shoulders. And then there are the visitors, the dreamers, the curious, the hopeful who walk through the doors each day. For them, the shop is magic, a place where history and human connection intersect. Rick cherishes these interactions. They remind him why he started in the first place, to build a space where stories mattered, where every item had a life, and where people could feel the thrill of discovery. Even amid rumors and speculation, these moments are a lifeline. A reminder that the shop is more than walls and counters. It is a living, breathing community that he has nurtured. Ultimately, Rick Harrison's journey is a story of endurance, love, and human vulnerability. It is a story of a man wrestling with the inevitability of change while fighting to preserve the extraordinary world he created. The gold and silver pawn shop is not just a business. It is a testament to family, to dreams, and to the courage it takes to keep building, even when the weight feels unbearable. And while the future may be uncertain, the truth is undeniable. Rick's story, like the treasures he guards, will continue to inspire, captivate, and touch hearts long after the neon lights dim. The cameras stop rolling and the rumors fade into silence.